We are stronger and better when we work together, the three of us.
Let's fast forward to 2035. The busy streets of Mexico City are now filled with signs of success and new opportunities. In simple words, Mexico has become the new US. Meanwhile, in the United States, cities are struggling with not enough workers, crumbling infrastructure, and political disagreements that have slowed down progress. This isn't just a dream, but will be a reality even before 2034. The situation has flipped, and now Mexico, once in the shadow of the US, has become a leader in growth, creativity, and resilience. But how did this happen? How did Mexico go from being seen as a follower to surpassing the country it once aimed to catch up with? Let's find out.
City in Mexico, centuries after it disappeared under jungle canopy.
After all the policies and every government act, it all comes down to the locals. We will talk about the policies too, that promise a good future for Mexico. But let's first talk about its locals. While the United States grapples with the sobering reality of an aging population, Mexico is thriving with youthful energy that fuels its economic engine. The demographic contrast between the two nations is stark. The average age in Mexico is just 28 years compared to 39 years in the US. This isn't merely a statistic. It's a profound demographic advantage that sets Mexico apart in a world where labor shortages are becoming the norm. In the tech hubs of Guadalajara, Monterrey, and Mexico City, young engineers and entrepreneurs are not just coding, they are innovating at breakneck speeds. Unlike Silicon Valley, which is increasingly reliant on foreign talent to fill its gaps, Mexico is nurturing its homegrown talent pool. The result? Startups that are pioneering everything from fintech solutions to renewable energy technologies. According to a report by the World Bank, Mexico has seen a 30% increase in tech startups in the last 5 years, outpacing even Silicon Valley's growth rates. But the real secret? It's not just about having a young workforce, it's about retaining them. Unlike the US, where young professionals are burdened by student debt and a high cost of living, Mexico offers an affordable lifestyle that keeps its brightest minds at home. The government has also launched initiatives to support young entrepreneurs with grants, tax breaks, and incubators designed to foster innovation. This strategic focus on youth is paying off, with Mexico's tech exports increasing by 25% annually. The US may have the dollars, but Mexico has the demographic dividend. In a future where labor shortages and aging populations threaten growth, it's the countries with youthful, dynamic workforces that will lead the way. Mexico is one of them, and it's already pulling ahead in industries that rely on fresh ideas and innovation. But that's not it. One thing that makes Mexico stand out is its resilience. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed a harsh truth for the United States. Its over-reliance on overseas manufacturing, particularly in Asia, left its supply chains vulnerable. But while American factories went silent and shelves in American stores went empty, Mexico's manufacturing sector kept humming along. In cities like Querétaro, León, and Tijuana, factories have been operating at full capacity, producing everything from cars to electronics at record speeds. So why has Mexico managed to thrive where the US has stumbled? Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Africa's geopolitics, economy, and changing landscape. Let's continue now. The answer lies in a combination of factors that make Mexico a manufacturing powerhouse: affordable labor costs, proximity to major markets, and trade agreements that provide easy access to North American consumers. By 2025, it's projected that US companies will have moved over $20 billion worth of production to Mexico. This is not just about cost cutting, it's about ensuring reliability and speed. Mexico's geographical proximity means shorter shipping times and reduced logistics costs compared to China. According to a recent study by the Boston Consulting Group, it takes an average of 22 days for goods to be shipped from China to the US, but only 2 days from Mexico. This reduction in lead time is crucial in an era where just-in-time manufacturing is the norm. But there's more to the story. Mexico is not just an alternative to China. It's becoming the preferred choice for high-tech manufacturing. In Guadalajara's Silicon Valley of Mexico, Companies are producing semiconductors, medical devices, and aerospace components that meet the highest global standards. A report from Deloitte indicates that Mexico's adoption of Industry 4.0 technologies, such as automation, robotics, and AI, is growing at a rate 30% faster than in the United States. What's driving this shift? It's not just about cheap labor, it's about skilled labor. Mexico has invested heavily in vocational training and technical education, ensuring that its workers are capable of handling sophisticated manufacturing processes. As a result, products stamped with Hecho in Mexico are no longer seen as inferior. They are now considered premium quality. American factories are struggling to compete, not because of cost, but because of speed, efficiency, and quality. Mexico's manufacturing sector is no longer just the good enough option. It's the gold standard for resilient, high-quality production. When it comes to renewable energy, the US talks a big game, but it's Mexico that's quietly taking the lead with substantial long-term investments. Blessed with abundant natural resources, Mexico has pivoted toward sustainable energy solutions with a determination that's catching the world's attention. In states like Oaxaca and Baja California, vast solar farms and wind turbines are now the defining features of the landscape. Imagine driving through the sun-soaked deserts of northern Mexico, where solar farms stretch as far as the eye can see, producing enough power to light up cities both within Mexico and across the border in the US. By 2030, Mexico plans to generate 50% of its energy from renewable sources, a target that not only matches but exceeds the US's own ambitious climate goals. Why does this matter for America? Because the tables have turned. Once reliant on the US for fossil fuels, Mexico is now becoming an energy exporter. In 2024 alone, Mexico increased its clean energy exports to the US by 20%, capitalizing on America's stalled progress in green energy infrastructure. According to the International Energy Agency, Mexico could supply up to 15% of the US's green energy needs by 2035. While American politicians debate the feasibility of the Green New Deal, Mexico is already cashing in on the green economy. Its energy independence not only reduces its carbon footprint, but also positions it as a key player in the global clean energy market. But still, these are the things on the surface that have helped Mexico outpace the US. There are a few things that are not seen and discussed as much. And one such thing is unity. While the United States grapples with increasing social fragmentation and polarization, Mexico stands as a testament to the power of unity and social cohesion. At a time when the US is struggling with divisions along political, racial, and socioeconomic lines, Mexico offers a refreshing contrast. A nation bound together by deep-rooted cultural values of family, community, and collective resilience. What's driving this difference? It's not just about traditions or heritage. It's about how social structures translate into economic and social advantages. In Mexico, the concept of familismo emphasizes the importance of family ties, not just as a source of emotional support, but as a foundation for social stability. This cohesion extends beyond immediate families to encompass extended relatives, neighbors, and local communities. In times of crisis, such as the devastating earthquakes of 2017 and 2021, Mexicans came together to rebuild their cities, displaying a level of solidarity that is rarely seen in more individualistic societies like the United States. In Mexico City's startup hubs, entrepreneurs are not just driven by profit, but by a sense of community purpose. Collaborative co-working spaces are filled with young innovators who are leveraging each other's skills, networks, and resources to build something bigger than themselves. Contrast this with Silicon Valley, where competition is fierce and collaboration often takes a back seat to individual ambition. In a study conducted by the World Happiness Report, Mexico consistently ranks higher in community cohesion and life satisfaction compared to the US, despite facing economic challenges. This social capital isn't just a feel-good factor. It's a competitive advantage that drives innovation, productivity, and resilience in times of economic downturn. But it's not just about feel-good community spirit. Social cohesion has tangible economic benefits. According to a report by the OECD, countries with higher levels of social trust and cooperation tend to experience 25% faster economic growth than those that are more fragmented. Mexico's emphasis on community support systems has allowed it to weather crises like the COVID-19 pandemic more effectively, with neighborhoods organizing to provide food, healthcare, and financial support to those in need. In a world where social capital is becoming just as valuable as financial capital, Mexico's social cohesion is a critical factor in its economic and social resilience. While the U.S. struggles with social divisions that hinder progress, Mexico's strong sense of community is fueling its rise as a leader in innovation and sustainable development. And because of this, Mexico is facing fewer threats. While the United States faces the looming threat of recession, rising interest rates, and ballooning national debt, Mexico's economy is quietly surging ahead. In 2024, Mexico's GDP grew by 4.2%, compared to the U.S.'s sluggish 1.8%. What's driving this impressive growth? A combination of strategic investments, demographic advantages, and a focus on sustainable industries. Let's break it down. Mexico's economic policy over the last decade has been laser-focused on diversifying its economy. Gone are the days when Mexico relied solely on oil exports and low-wage manufacturing. Today, Mexico is investing heavily in tech, green energy, and sustainable agriculture. According to the Mexican Ministry of Economy, foreign direct investment (FDI) in tech and renewable sectors grew by 35% in 2023 alone. In the bustling financial district of Mexico City, the skyline is now filled with the offices of multinational companies. From fintech startups to global tech giants, businesses are choosing Mexico over the U.S. for their Latin American headquarters. This shift is not just about lower costs, but also about the ease of doing business. The World Bank's Ease of Doing Business report shows that Mexico has made significant strides in reducing red tape, making it easier to set up and run a business compared to the U.S., where regulatory bottlenecks and political infighting often stall progress. But there's more to the story. Mexico's young, tech-savvy workforce is driving innovation in ways that the aging U.S. labor force simply cannot match. The Mexican government has partnered with universities to launch specialized training programs in AI, robotics, and green technology. As a result, Mexican graduates are entering the workforce with cutting-edge skills that are in high demand globally. While the U.S. struggles with the effects of rising national debt, which now exceeds $33 trillion, Mexico has managed to keep its debt-to-GDP ratio below 50%. This fiscal discipline allows Mexico to invest in infrastructure, education, and healthcare, areas that are often the first to be cut in the U.S. during times of economic hardship. As a result, Mexico is attracting investors who are looking for stable, high-growth markets. The U.S. may have been the economic superpower of the 20th century, but Mexico is emerging as a force to be reckoned with in the 21st. With a young workforce, strategic investments, and a diversified economy, Mexico is outpacing its northern neighbor in key areas that matter for long-term growth. So, if we are in 2035, Mexico won't be just keeping pace with the United States, but in many ways, surpassing it. The world is no longer solely looking to Washington or New York for leadership. They're looking to the vibrant streets of Monterrey, the tech parks of Guadalajara, and the clean energy fields of Baja California. Mexico is no longer just the junior partner in the North American alliance. It's the driving force. But what does this mean for the future of North America? The U.S. needs to recognize that the era of unchallenged American dominance is over. Instead of trying to maintain a status quo that no longer serves it, the U.S. should look to Mexico as an example of how to adapt and thrive in a rapidly changing world. The United States faces significant structural challenges that can't be solved with short-term fixes. From an aging population and stagnant innovation to crippling debt and social polarization, the U.S. is struggling to maintain its edge. In contrast, Mexico is rising, driven by its youthful population, strategic economic policies, and a deep sense of social cohesion that the U.S. can no longer ignore. So, the future of North America is not about one country leading the way. It's about collaboration. The U.S. can learn from Mexico's successes in areas like sustainable energy, demographic management, and social unity. If America is willing to set aside its ego and embrace a more cooperative relationship with its southern neighbor, both nations can thrive in the decades to come. The question isn't whether Mexico is the future of America. The question is America ready to learn from Mexico? As global powers shift and new economic leaders emerge, the world may find that the real superpower of the future isn't where they expected. It's south of the Rio Grande. In the race to build a more sustainable, inclusive, and innovative future, Mexico has shown that it's not just along for the ride, it's ready to take the wheel. Do you think the US must take notes? Can the US copy Mexico? Let us know in the comment section. Is a multipolar world becoming a reality? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: African politics, economy, and increasing power. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.